All right, so here we are. The Cribs edition of the tour of this awesome villa is wrapped, and now we're gonna get into the content for you guys here. So, my man, you've got an incredible
Damn,
story.
I look huge, bro. Look at how big I look compared to you.
It's the gun show here. It's the
giant.
gun show. It's the gun show here today. So Gavin, you've been living in Bali for how long? This is kind of your home base, coming from Canada.
Yeah, I've been here 8 months, but I've come here like 8-9 times, and then I was like, this is gonna be home base now. I can't deal with the cold anymore.
No,
and then as soon as you get that kind of online freedom,
Yeah.
you have location independence. So I like to travel lots of places, but I like to come back here as the home base. I love the people here. I love the culture. The Balinese are just incredible human beings, and yeah, it's just I love this place.
Yeah, man. Like I came here the first time about six years ago, probably.
Yeah.
And Canggu was like nothing, and now it's just
Damn.
turned into this like huge, epic community of just like so many rad people like
Yeah.
based here doing these amazing ventures,
Yeah.
online and offline.
Yeah.
So you're from Canada. You've got an incredibly successful online business.
Yeah, it's finally, yeah.
Finally. So let's hear about the struggles like before, like everything kind of blew up. Like what were you dabbling with? What were you doing? And then
Man, I
what
tried.
what kind of
I tried so many things. Like I remember, first off, when I first got into this, I was like a personal trainer. And
in
then,
Toronto?
No, this was in Winnipeg. So
Okay.
I was like a personal trainer in Canada, and I kind of went through this whole thing where I was like kind of doing nothing with my life, but then I found fitness and I found a mentor, and then I started really just like trying to better myself through fitness, and then that kind of gave me consciousness to like do other things.
Right.
But I remember someone taking me to a network marketing meeting and being like, come check this out. I'm getting together with some sharp people in town, blah, 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 the whole pitch.
Yeah.
I got there and like sold me the dream. I'm like, here's my money, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, never seen anything like this before. And then through that path, you start looking up more things on YouTube,
Right, yeah.
trying to figure out how to do things better. People start giving you audiobooks. And then I discovered some stuff on YouTube. And I remember I discovered Cesar Rodriguez's video. I tell this story all the time. I discovered his videos on how to prospect, on how to meet people. I like went to the mall the next day like with a suit on, with my iPad. And I was literally walking in and out of stores being like, who's the best salesperson here? You, here, now, blah, blah, blah. Like using all of this like authority, language patterns, and all this stuff. And then I just started getting all these appointments. And then even more important, I would say, you're the type of person that's good with keeping appointments, right? And then they would always show up
Keep
to
the
the appointments
appointment, right,
because
yeah.
it was an identity commitment. So
Yeah.
he was teaching me all this NLP, but I didn't really understand what it was. And I was like, holy shit, it like made me feel so empowered. And I'm like, if I could learn 100 to 200 of these things, there's no chance that I'm not going to be successful. I remember walking into my house that day just being like, there's no chance that I'm not going to be successful.
Right.
However, as much as you get these like little hints and feelings that everything's going to be great, what ends up happening is you end up trying this venture, that venture, failing here,
Shiny ball syndrome.
losing all your money, getting evicted from my apartment, my girlfriend leaving me, my friends not wanting to be around me, me saying like I'm going to be rich and then losing everything, so now I'm too embarrassed to even talk about it. It's just like this cycle for
Right.
4 or 5 years of trying, dabbling in everything, but reading hundreds and hundreds of books, going through courses, making all the mistakes myself, trial and error. And over time, you just build this, what I call like the circle of skills. So all it takes is you to have like, you can have 7 of the skills and you can be missing the one thing that
Right.
keeps fucking you up.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get that, it's almost like the safe finally clicks and you can open it and you look through it and you're like, I see now. You know?
Right,
Here's
yeah.
the goal. So over time, that's what happened. And then the Shopify thing came up, where I had some successes, but I would never have something sustainable, right? Nothing would ever be sustainable because there was no system.
Right, yeah.
So you'd get a success and then you'd lose it and it sucks.
Yeah.
Because then you quit your job or you quit whatever and you're like ready to become rich.
Yeah.
And now you lose it all again and now you're like, fuck, I have to go wash dishes or
Right.
something, which I did do. And I listened to audiobooks every day washing dishes. Like when I knew I was better than that, but I lost all my confidence. I'm sure people have gone through that.
Yeah.
You know more than you feel.
Right. Yeah.
But you feel so shitty about yourself that you actually like can't activate and take any action.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
So I was in that place, but then I saw this thing on YouTube of like Alex Becker, these different guys talking about Shopify, and I was like, damn, like he was good, but I'm like, all these other people suck at marketing
Yeah.
and they're getting success. I'm like, I could crush
Right.
crush at this.
Yeah.
So I reached out to some friends, and then my one friend's like, I got a Shopify store.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, if you can, do something with it, like we'll work something out.
Right.
I ended up just I tweaked the copy, tweaked the image, tweaked how the site flowed, and then started running some Facebook ads to it, and then got a couple sales, and then 4 sales, then 8 sales, to the point where last year on like Black Friday we did a $50,000 day, which was like amazing. Wow. And then on a regular basis we're doing like 20 grand, 30 grand every day with this store after a year.
Wow.
December we did about $560,000. And it's just amazing how the exponential curve happens in business, because it is not a linear growth. Like it's linear for a long time, but it's more like this. And then as it clicks and comes together, it just skyrockets. And that could take 5 years, it could take 10 years. I could have easily not found this and still been kind of in the up and down thing, no matter how much I knew. But I realized I needed to find people who are really good at the things that I suck at, so I could just focus on what I was good at. That's why I always kept failing, because I kept trying to do everything, and I suck at most things. And I'm really willing to admit that now, where before I just tried to do it all, when I'm like, I suck at technology, I suck at most of the things that people are scared of to start an online business, but I'm like, a lot of other people are good at those. If I just learn this psychology and marketing thing, then that's okay.
Got it, man. That's amazing, because for those of you who don't know, do you want to maybe just give a bit of background what Shopify is? Like, people probably know Amazon, but they might not know.
Yeah, a lot of people know Shopify, but it's just a platform to make it simpler to build a website and have like a marketing platform. And the reason why it's so good is you have all these different apps that are kind of open source that people are trying to build for the platform. So you put all these apps on, so you're not building it all from scratch. And then you got your payment systems built in, and like, it just simplifies the process of e-commerce. That's it.
And as far, because I've got a lot of like Amazon buddies that are like doing FBA, so similar process. You source the product from China, overseas, do a big warehouse, like so you're not touching the product or anything. It's just going right through automated system.
How we do it is we source from China. I was just in Shenzhen meeting our guys. And then we send it to the States, and then we have like our own little fulfillment center.
Oh, so you do it yourself?
I don't, and my business partner doesn't, but we have someone who does it, because we like the 2 to 4 day shipping thing. We're trying to compete with Amazon. So most like people who are doing drop shipping, stuff like that, that's really hard business model, because everyone's like asking for refunds, returns, like chargebacks. All that stuff makes the business hard. But if someone gets their product in 2 to 4 days, and you can put that in your copy, that increases our conversion on direct response. That's how we're able to scale with Instagram and Facebook ads. Whereas if someone's like thinks they're going to get their product in 3 weeks, like your conversion rate goes way down. So a lot of people do the free shipping thing. I don't do free shipping. I just do fast shipping. Because I know for myself, I'd rather pay extra to get it fast. You know, when you're in that emotional like buying,
you want it now.
You just want it.
You know?
Well,
that's why I think Amazon Prime is just blown up so much.
100%. And that's what I modeled it off of. I said, okay, I never buy anything on Amazon if it's not going to be 2 or 3 days. So if I'm not doing that, then that means if I'm doing that on my website, and I'm giving this long shipping time, then I'm screwed.
Can I ask, what is your niche? Like, what kind of like, how did you do your market research? How did you choose the right product? Because that's like the biggest thing, right? So.
So I didn't, because my business partner already had the
something
product
set
in
up.
store. And I was like not even sure if it was going to be like that awesome, but it really was. What it is, it's a magnetic car mount, and then other products around this. So it's a magnetic car mount, and then the new one is a magnetic wireless charging car mount. And since it's such a mass market, everyone's got a car, or most people have a car, and nobody likes fumbling around with cords, and it's, you know, you get tickets for holding your phone. Those new ones for the window are illegal. So it's this perfect thing. It goes right on your dash or in your vent, and you put the magnet in between your case and your phone, and you just get in your car, boom, there's my car. Or there's my the simplicity. And with the wireless charger, which we're killing it with, now you don't have to have cords anymore, so the person just gets in their car, bam, phone is charging, don't have to think about it. So it's such a simple idea. And then we extended the products with different mounts, different cases for phones, different stuff. So we're just like building around that brand, but we've become like the #1 company in this like car mount space.
Wow, that's crazy.
In the States. And we only still really sell in the States, like market in the States, but we're going to expand to like 5 or 6 new countries. We have a game plan for that.
So the guys watching, all it takes is just one idea to just change everything. Like and partnering with the right person as well, like you said. Like it's just super key. I know that I did the Amazon, you know Matt Clark and those guys that run Amazon, amazing.com, the Amazon
No,
FBA?
I don't.
No, okay.
I'm not really familiar with too much Amazon FBA stuff.
Sure.
We are on Amazon FBA now,
yeah.
and we're doing good with it because everyone's searching our company.
Right.
Now they find our stuff on Amazon and buy through there.
Yeah.
But like, I'd like to get more into it because there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, so I did their whole program. I went to the course and then I went to Vegas for their event. And my business partner and I, we were looking at doing, portable phone chargers.
Yeah.
So we both went different ways after that. We didn't pursue it, but it's crazy how big of a market it is because that's exactly what we're looking at doing too.
Yeah, I really that's the one product that I'm really looking for is a really good like case charger. So someone puts the case on and it is the charger.
Right, yeah.
If I can find a really slick one that's not super big, like over time when they get thinner and better, that's something that I know I can make millions off of 100%.
And I watched your Mindvally. You were in Thailand with a good friend of ours, Brian Swan, that just was actually on this episode before this one, episode 42. So you were in Mindvalley, kind of sharing. Were you there as a speaker, or
it was a mastermind? But
right,
I was just like asked to speak as on a topic that's on stories and topics that have like transformed my life.
Right.
So yeah, the biggest one, since you watched that interview, was just understanding the value equation, and that's really like been the big game changer for me. Like just in marketing in general, is just understanding like if you have two bills, like $100 bill and a $1 bill.
That was an interesting, $1, if you want to share that.
Yeah, like a $1 bill, and you ask people what's the difference, and people are like, oh, the symbol, oh, the this, oh, that, oh, how much you can buy with it, how the freedom you can get. And I'm like, yeah, but what's the intrinsic difference? And then people are like, like I'm not really. A lot of people won't even know what that really means, but it's like both of these bills intrinsically are the exact same. They're paper, they're useless to a human. If you showed it to an alien, they wouldn't care. They'd think you're insane for thinking this thing has value.
Yeah.
But as humans, reality is created by validation. So if enough of us collectively validate that something is worth something, then it is worth something in our minds. So the problem is, since we actually think money has value, we try to get money. But if you try to get money, you've already lost. You're going to push it away because human beings want value. Like what is intrinsically valuable to a human being? And then you talk about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right.
Survival, safety, love, connection, social status, self-actualization, and then what Maslow would say after, which was like transcendence, like going beyond just success for self. That's like legacy and stuff, right? These are intrinsically valuable to a human being. So instead of looking at how you can get money, money is just a lubrication between value forms. It's a symbolic medium of exchange. It's not valuable in and of itself. And it's not backed by gold or anything anymore anyways. So if we try to get money, we already lost. So when I ran into Eben Pagan's training on this, he was like, as entrepreneurs, we're thinking about how can we like figure out this value equation. We start thinking, maybe like all I have to do is get 1 million people, all they give me $1, and then I become a millionaire. Okay. But it's like, wait a second. This is why most people never end up making money, because they get to that level and they keep thinking about how can I get from people. They're getting so close, but they end up quitting and going back to a job. You know, we borrow money from our friends and family. We go through this whole cycle of like finally getting to the point where we're like, fuck it, I give up. I'm gonna just, and they just didn't flip the equation. Instead of saying, how do I get $1 from 1 million people? Why don't we say, how can I provide $100 worth of value to 1 million people? Intrinsic value. Right. So $100, I just like putting in someone's mind. Intrinsic value. So what is intrinsically valuable to these human beings? And then how can I get them to understand that the value, their paper value, is worth less than the value that I'm giving to them?
Right.
Then once that equation is there and you're giving more value than they're giving you in return, like perceived value, then you use a force multiplier like the internet, and you multiply that value equation times 1 million or times 1,000 or times whatever. So that is what allowed us to get over 60,000 customers last year, because our value proposition was more valuable than the money they gave, and I multiplied that by so many.
And if you think of that, like that's a huge number, 60,000.
Yeah.
But if you look at just how many people have these phones, like your market, it's
huge.
It's the biggest in the world. Because,
one of the biggest, and
it's just getting bigger and bigger every day because people are just more and more. addicted and attached to their phones now than ever, and it's just getting exponentially, a huger part of everyone's life every day, and they're going to need to charge it. They bring it in the car.
And I'll try to just break it down in terms of like, so someone can start to understand this. So the thing that I focus most on is human psychology, evolutionary psychology, the reptilian, mammalian, neocortex, like really understanding this process that the brain goes through. And in terms of these products, someone will look at that and just kind of be like, yeah, it's just a product to charge your phone. But that's like most people, if you show them a seed, they see a seed, where an entrepreneur sees the tree.
Right.
They see the forest. They see like they see beyond the visible.
Wow.
So then, in terms of like value for a human being, I'm not just seeing this car charger. I'm actually seeing them getting in their car and needing to have an extra 50% because they're going out.
Yeah.
I see their friends and family getting in the car being like, damn, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That intrinsic value, that's valuable to human. They want to feel like people are like respecting and admiring them and jealous of them and all these things.
Yeah,
so you start seeing it from the reptilian brain of like, I need to like feel like I'm in control.
Status,
No, like the reptilian is like power and control, right? It's like we want to feel powerful and in control of our physical environment. We don't want to feel like we're unempowered. So powered would be powering up your phone, literally feeling more power in your life because you can do more, right? Not feeling unempowered, like my phone's dead, then like on the mammalian brain, we want people to like look up to us and like respect us and love us more, and we actually think products and services will get us that. And then like on an achievement side of things, it's like you also have like a level of status by having something that's better than other people. These are intrinsically valuable things to human beings, whether they want to admit it or not. I can easily admit that I want that because that's what we want as human beings. Social status is really important. There's actually,
now more than ever too with social media.
There's actually like mechanisms in our brain that regulate our serotonin levels based off of our social status. How powerful is that? So literally, when you feel down, like you're like a loser in your friend group or something, you actually feel more depressed. Like this is like a true like thing in our brains. Jordan Peterson talks about the lobster in his book.
I'm a huge fan of Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he's an amazing human being. He talks about the lobsters. They have the exact same mechanisms, and there's social hierarchies that are always happening around us. So your products or services all actually affect every one of these. That's why someone is going to pay $50,000 for a Rolex, even though it's not worth that much more, but the status you gain is worth it to that person because the way other people are going to look at them is what they're paying for. They're paying for an experience in the world. They're paying for a new way to live, like actually feel and experience and be a part of the world. That's what they're paying for.
No, and that's just so much to unpack there, man. That's a really interesting way, especially for people that are looking to start something. Just looking at it not as what does this product do, but what can this product do for this person outside of the actual usability. Because that's what really makes people take action. If you start to see this in every product and service, so I never like to really give somebody, here's just this how-to step, because if you just give someone the how-to step without this knowledge, they will probably dig themselves a hole in some way or another. Or they'll scam people, or they'll do something that's just not going to be empowering for them or other people. But when you can give someone a new set of lenses to actually see the world through, they can now apply that to everything. So that's why I like these type of lenses to put on, because now you can start to look at every product and service as, what is the actual intrinsic value that product or service provides for that human? And then you start to see it in everything. So it's like let's say someone's like, oh, I need a hammer right now. It's like maybe they're buying that hammer because they're trying to put up this new painting on their wall because their friends and family are coming over and they want to tell the story of how amazing this painting is, and then see how everyone looks at them, how smart they are, and how high status or blah blah blah, right? All of this, right? So you start to think in terms of every product and service this way, and that's when you stop asking. That's when you stop selling things based off of what you want other people to want. And if you're a salesperson, you start asking people questions, and then they tell you what the thing is that they want, and then you focus on that to sell them, because that's all that they actually care about. People don't buy a drill because they want a hole. They buy a drill because they want to put a painting up to hang
even
exactly.
deeper.
No, that's good. You probably read the book Opportunity, Eben Pagan's new book.
I love Eben.
Yeah, man. Like his new book just goes really deep into the psychology around why people do certain things and the intrinsic value, you know, like when he talks about art, like he's a big art collector, and how he sees these, he goes to Burning Man and does all these, you know, deals with artists there and stuff, and he's like, well, yeah, this is worth this much money, but to me, for what it makes me feel and my family and his wife, it's worth so much more than that.
Yes.
Like people would say, well, how is this worth, like, you know, $20,000 for a painting? Like that's who knows, right? Yeah. But it's all relative.
And then you like peel back a layer deeper, which is like, how do you value anything in comparison to money?
Yeah.
Like, how does a human being actually even do that process? And that's when you start to like really get into the deeper layers, because money in and itself, doesn't matter how much it is, still has no value.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And it's just based off of what we think that value is. That's why Eben will talk about things like it'd be nice to see, what is this couch worth in comparison to this piece of grain, or this amount of rice, or this amount of whatever. Yeah. To constantly be like seeing in the market what those are, because when you just compare it to money, it's really difficult. And this is why guys like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are so wealthy. They are obviously great with math, they have to be, but how they base all of their decisions financially and their investments is based off of human behavior.
Right.
So Charlie Munger has something, if people want to look this up, called the 24 cognitive biases that he bases his investment decisions off of. Wow. Because he knows this is what causes human beings to make mistakes, shortcut their decision process. You know, these are things like social proof, reciprocity, liking and disliking, commitment, consistency, delusion bias, all of these different things. So they run all their investment decisions through these biases, and they don't just make it off of a like, oh, it's like increasing like this. They know, okay, like Coca-Cola, people are going to keep buying the sugar water. They know there's all of these different layers on how they invest. This is the same way I activate through the world too now, is I focus first on the human psychology, because we don't make our decisions based off logic. We make our decisions based off emotion, and then we try to justify it with logic. Mark Twain would say, there's two reasons a man buys something: the reason he tells his wife and the real reason.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So you get to this point where you realize we actually always just confabulate stories after we've made the emotional decision to back up logically why we did it. And we'll make up any story that's logical to make ourselves feel like we did the right thing.
Right. You know, the thing with that is being in a place like Bali, where a lot of the local people here, for example, I just bought some land in the Philippines not long ago, and the guy that I was kind of doing this deal with, he didn't even have a bank account. Like, he did not have a bank account. And that's just like, I couldn't even comprehend that. I'm like, well, if I send you this money, where do I send it? He's like, well, actually, I don't have a bank account.
Yeah.
And like, so many people talking about value and intrinsic value of money, they don't really see it as, like, he cares way more about his field that produces the food for his family than paper.
Yes.
You know, like, it was just such a kind of like mind shift when I heard that. And I'm just like, and then being in that community for quite a while, a lot of people don't have bank accounts there. You know, one of my good friends, Tufi, he's like really heavy into the blockchain and crypto space. He's like, his mission is to help bank the unbanked, because so many of them just don't really see the value in it, and to have alternative means for value to create. It's really fascinating stuff.
It is.
Well, let's kind of look at this to kind of wrap things up here. You're living in Bali. You're a very high energy, high producer. What's your day, like I call it DMO, like what's your kind of daily methods of operation? Like, as far as with your business affairs, your personal affairs, socializing, like what's your day in the life of Gavin look like?
Yeah, so like this is where like a lot of people in the traditional grind and the traditional way of doing things will just like absolutely detest me, because
I like you already even more.
Yeah, because I don't have really this DMO, this like perfect way to do things.
Sure.
I'm actually a very, very unorganized person. I'm very loose with how I do things. I'm constantly doing things like working out, sports, hanging out with people, like always different experiential stuff.
Yeah.
I'm listening to audiobooks everywhere I drive. That's my way of like constantly learning, upgrading my mindset, because all I'm looking for in my position is the big ideas. So my job is different than the average person who's just taking action all day. So a lot of people think that I just take action. I don't. I'm constantly trying to connect dots in my mind. Marshall Silver, one of the greatest hypnotists, would say, those who think govern those that labor.
Yeah.
Literally, this is like really against like the Gary Vee and a lot of these other things.
Yeah.
But I'm a much more of a thinker than I am a doer.
Sure.
Now, that means I'm more of an orchestrator of the orchestra. Like, you know, I'm trying to get everyone to harmonize together. So I will try to get my team and the people to like take the actions. So I don't touch the Facebook ads, I don't touch this, touch that, but I'm constantly talking with them and I'm organizing it. But without my brain and my way of seeing it, then we're going to take too much stupid action. So there's a lot of days, like I would say, or weeks that I do live the 4-hour work week. But I'm also working all the time because I'm always thinking about the things. So it's a different way of seeing what action is, right? So it's a hard thing, because I know if I didn't do all these things and I wasn't traveling to these different places, wasn't constantly reading, going through courses, doing all this other stuff, then I wouldn't be able to like connect these dots in the way that I do. That creates an ad that does $500,000 or that does $800,000, which a couple ads that I've created have done that. So what's the value in that, right? If it only took me, a day to do that ad, but it took me the last 4 years of figuring this stuff out to actually be able to do it. Same like a boxer. People will be like, oh, Floyd Mayweather made, $8 million for 12 minutes. It's like, no, he made $8 million for the last 20 years that he accumulated into that personality, all the time in the gym, all the fights, all the wins, all of that, then accumulated into him being allowed to be paid that type of money.
I'll share a good analogy for that. I was just reading an article, or maybe I was listening to a podcast about it. Anyway, in Italy, Picasso is sitting in a cafe just doodling on a napkin, just drawing while he's having his coffee. There's a woman looking over his shoulder and just watching him draw this. And then he's about to leave the cafe, crumples it up, and he's about to throw it out. And then a woman comes up to him and be like, excuse me, I don't want to bother you, but can I keep that napkin? I just saw you drawing it. He looks at it, he says, sure, but it'll be $20,000.
Yeah.
And then she's like, $20,000? Like, I just saw you doodle in like 2 minutes. He's like, yeah, it took me 2 minutes, but it also took me 20 years to master this.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, are you gonna pay me $20,000? She's like, no. Rips it up, throws it away. Like, I just thought that was like the coolest, thing that just shows you about nothing is overnight.
Yes.
And I think that when people hear stories like yours, it says, oh, $3 million Shopify business, just kind of came out of nowhere. But no, they didn't see the behind the scenes that it took you all these years of trying different things and testing and struggling and having these roller coasters, and then you find that one thing that clicks, and then overnight, like you said, the compounding effect, it just blows up. And I've heard this time, and like I've interviewed so many people that have these successful stories, but you hear the successful story, you don't hear all the compounding days, nights, sleepless nights, conferences. Like you just said today, you just booked an event to go to Joel Brown's conference here. So even at this level, it's not like you've arrived. You're still growing and developing and investing in yourself.
Exactly. I think the other thing that successful people like that I have met over the years, they're just always realizing that they know nothing.
There's
There's
if you're
always
the smartest
so much
person
more.
in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I had that conversation with someone the other day. This was like so huge. She was like, I don't really want to do it that way or do that formula or do this. And I'm like, that's why you're not going to succeed.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, I have to be very harsh about this stuff. I kind of take the Kevin O'Leary approach a little bit now with entrepreneurship. When someone says things like that, I'm like, you're going to fail.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's good, because so many people are kind of selling a dream.
Oh, that's the worst right now. And this is why, like, I don't have a course. I'm not going, and on my YouTube channel, other things, I'm just teaching what I actually believe. But I do believe in the law of attraction. I believe in all these things. But there's like multi-layers to it. It's not just believe in it, just magically happens. There's so many different layers. So I'm trying to get people to connect all those different dots so they can realize it is a real law. Just like the law of gravity, if you drop something, it falls. The law of attraction is always working, but it's working for or against you. Because no matter what, you're attracting things into your life. That just depends if it's positive or negative, based off the actions you're taking, based off the proximity you're putting yourself. Like proximity is power, just like a magnet. Right here, it's nothing, but here, it attracts, right?
That's one of the things I used to tell my clients all the time, is when I was doing personal development coaching, which I still do a little bit, but not as much as back then. I say, if you're just talking about sitting in a place like this and meditating and using visualization and the law of attraction, you're sitting there, but if you sit there with no action, movers and repo men are going to come and take the couch that you're sitting on, because you're not making any money, because you're not taking any action. There's all these things that you have to do to put it into action and to get the results.
And the last piece of that I would just say is, like, action comes in so many different forms, and I think this is a really confusing thing that people go through, is when someone thinks of action, they think about like running or walking or like being in a building, you know, moving their body only.
Yeah.
But action's also movements in the mind.
Oh,
and
yeah.
those movements in the mind can then be spoken out into existence
Yeah.
to your team and people who can then do the physical labor actions. So action doesn't mean labor.
Yeah.
Action means moving things in this environment, whether
Orchestrating.
it's your mind
Yeah.
or whether it's you physically doing the labor.
Right.
But I think like the best entrepreneurs in the world all are very good at selling the vision
Yeah.
and getting smarter people than themselves around them at all the things that they suck at, and then all together collectively moving towards that vision.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One last question. So you said that you have a team. How many people are you working with to kind of grow this and scale it out? Like,
We've got about 7 or 8 people, and then I have like 2 people for my personal brand. My personal brand I make no money off of. I have a full-time videographer. We do videos and content. I have a full-time personal brand manager. He like gets me on podcasts, does like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't make any money from that, but in the future I'm going to do a lot of speaking and
gigs,
do a
yeah.
lot of stuff.
build the foundation now.
But
and then,
that's something I want people to realize too. Sometimes it's you don't just do what you love and the money will follow. Like if I was doing this what I love and thinking that money's just gonna follow, and I'd never built a successful business in my life, it would have been a very fucking hard thing, and I would have gone broke. But instead, I created a like real business, and now I can do the things that I love, and then I'm gonna transition with real experience and knowledge and wisdom and like expertise in those spaces to be able to do it. So there's many ways that people can do it. Like we can do the reporter evangelist, we can do all sorts of different ways. But I just know for myself, the more I tried to just do what I loved, in terms of making money, I failed.
Right.
And as soon as I was like, actually, how can I just like sell something to people that they're already actively looking for, that they'd be passionate about, that they buy more of, that they tell their friends about, and then how can I build wealth through that, and then take that wealth and then do things that are going to make a big impact in the world. Like Elon Musk with PayPal.
Right, yeah.
You know? He
yeah.
took all that money and then he went and did the things he really wanted to do. But he didn't do those first because he didn't have the money.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. No, build the foundation.
Yeah.
And last one, people looking to do a shop, or I always say, I want to say Spotify because I do my podcast with Spotify. Shopify, Shopify store. What are the profit margins like? Like people looking at doing a business like this, like you say 3 million generated, what is kind of like the cost?
We did 25% profit margin off that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not huge, but it's not horrible.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still a good year.
Yeah.
Like we'll say that. But that's for me. Like right. To some people that's nothing. Right. So sometimes I have to like, some people around me will be like, man, you're killing it, blah blah blah, and then I just look at it, and I'm like, there's people like with old money who are doing like freaking $1 billion a year. Like come on, let's stop like.
Yeah, it's all
pretending.
relative.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
So for me, I never get to the point where I'm like, my ego is like, oh, I'm like making so much money. But for me, it's amazing. Like, I'm very happy in comparison to where I was.
Exactly.
But I still know, in terms of the visions that I have and things that I want to do, like I need a lot of money to help push those forward. For myself personally, I don't need that much.
Yeah.
For my missions and the things that I want to do, I need a lot.
Yeah.
So I like that. The type of money I'm making is nothing.
And that's a good motivation to have something beyond just the reason to make money, to have a vision
because
of
once
service.
Once you write out your perfect day, like Brian talked
I
about.
know. Yeah.
My perfect day costs easily less than $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
My perfect day.
Yeah.
Like, to do it every single day for a month.
So do you want to share your perfect day?
Yeah. Well, I'll just like say what it was back then.
Right.
My perfect day back then was living out in a place like Bali, in a beautiful place like this.
Yeah.
Waking up in the morning, looking off into either the beach, or now I'm in the rice fields. I was at the beach before, so I'd look at the surfers and the waves every morning I woke up.
That's where I'd be.
Yeah, for sure. But then as you evolve, things change, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like immediately going to the gym, doing some type of yoga or surfing, whatever it is, right? Like something active, some getting the body primed for the day, doing some reading, getting some sort of like good nutritious food at that point. Then I would immediately go to do some sort of purpose-driven work. Then after that, have lunch with some cool people.
Yeah.
Because I really like having high-level conversations with people.
Right.
I'm not going to go just meet with people to do small talk. That's a waste of time to me. But when you're around so many cool people, you get to go have lunch
and go deep.
To go deep and talk about awesome shit and help each other like change the world in different ways. Then I'll do like I have now, a full-time videographer, and then I create YouTube videos, create content, do things that, because every time I've done my Ikigai or personality test, teaching is what I'm meant to be doing. Right. So then I'll be doing some sort of teaching that I'm pushing out with mass media in some level, right?
Yeah.
Upgrade the line I use, like I want to upgrade minds for modern times using mass media. Like that's
nice.
like my purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And then after that, have some dinner with some awesome people, and then go have like a couple glasses of wine and maybe dance some salsa. Like that's what I So
salsa's really big here. I hear a lot of guys going to these different events and stuff.
and this is that's like an average perfect day. So the perfect day in and of itself would be different than your average perfect day. But if you were to just get up and do that all the time,
sounds pretty good, man.
Hell yeah! Like good food, good people, good activities. Good purpose-driven work, like all this stuff that's just lighting you up and giving you more energy and not taking away energy.
Yeah. No, man. Well, from what I've seen here the last couple of weeks hanging out with you, you're living it every day, doing what you want in this incredible space and making a huge difference, man. So like, I look forward to seeing what you create in your future, and super glad that our paths have crossed.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, and we'll do an interview on my channel soon too.
So yeah, so you guys, I definitely recommend down in the show notes below, connect with Gavin. He's doing some incredible things, and I asked a good friend of mine, Brian, I'm like, who are some guys that I should connect with here that are really, hitting at a high level? And first guy he said, he's like, Gavin. So I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you, homie.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Enjoy your adventures in Bali, and I'll see you when I'm back next time.
Sounds good. Peace,
cool.
guys.
See you guys.